I'm back with Alka Bhanot and Tripti Bhatnagar, founder and co-founder of Indie Meme. Indie Meme is a film festival here in Austin, as I mentioned earlier. And we'll be chatting about their journeys, their hustles, the struggles, the achievements and the successes and all kind of stories that they have had over the period of more than 6.5 years, almost 7 in June, right, Alka? 7 in June?
7 actually in February this year.
7 in Feb this year. So 7 years we are celebrating for Indie Meme. And so welcome to our show, Fab Life 360. Alka and Tripti, both of you, you have done a tremendous job, contributed so much to Austin South Asian arts and entertainments and bringing the whole community together in a unique way. Now we almost call it, oh, that was pre-Indie Meme era in Austin. So let's just dive in and go straight to 2012, to 7 years back. What made you start Indie Meme? What was your thought behind it?
It's good to be talking to you, Seema. Thanks for having us. I think Indie Meme started as a really small idea of trying to get together some like-minded people to watch alternate cinema coming from India. So it was just that kind of a small idea when it started. I have a bit of a background in television and film. So I had friends back in India who were making some really awesome movies which were not easily available or accessible in the US. And I'm talking about 2013. So I thought it would be nice to somehow bring their content down and, find maybe 30, 40 other people who would be interested in watching it and do screenings. And that's it. And then, of course, Tripti jumped in and the thing blew up and we are where we are today. So, yeah.
So, you've had an interesting journey from your first film, Girl Rising, and now this weekend, to Rising Rani. So Tripti, how has this journey been? What do you have to say?
Thank you, Seema, for having us on the show. As Alka said, the first Indie Meme screening was on June 6th of 2013, which was Girl Rising, right? So this journey has been from June 6th to now we are in April to Tale of Rising Rani. It's been a wonderful journey. It's been a journey of learning along the way and really paving our own path together. It is Alka and I have been working since now 7 years together. So it's been wonderful. It has been wonderful.
So tell me, how did you get away in the first couple of years? Those must be the hardest, because what I remember, Austin wasn't as bustling in the South Asian community. Nothing was happening in the South Asian space back then. Here and there, Diwali or Holi at the temple and pretty much it. So how did you kind of get past those first 2-3 years? And what were the struggles that time? And who came on board with you that time? You want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, I think we did, a few screenings initially. And the first few years was all about building that audience. Like Alka said, bringing like-minded people together was the startup idea for this whole Indie Meme initiative. So really educating the community, and these independent cinema is really an acquired taste. So I think initially we really had to work hard to build that and bring together the like-minded people and build that entire community. And Alka can also add to this.
Yeah, I agree. Seema, you're right. There wasn't too much going on, but even if there was too much going on, I wouldn't have known about it, because when we started with the whole idea of doing Indie Meme, I really didn't know anybody in Austin. So it wasn't maybe the number of people, it was the kind of people you met, and the first few people who you met seemed excited about what you were trying to do, and then introduced you to some other people, and that's how it grew. I mean, that's how we met you. It was because the people were ready, and I think Tripti will agree too. People were ready for alternate content. So we are lucky to be in Austin and Dallas, and I think the South Asian community here is is different, is much more excited about the real stuff that's going on in India. So yeah, I think it took time. It was not easy, but it was worth it. And I think we were also pretty dedicated in what we put forward, because the people who came stayed. They came back, and that's how the community grew.
Yeah, it always takes me back to that coffee shop that you and I met in 2013, and I was starting my Cosmos City Media. You had already started this, and we brainstormed and we figured, now we have these ideas, but what do we do, and how do we expand, and where do we go from there? And now today we are here across each other. So this is something to celebrate in all these times as well, right? For women-owned companies. This is all women-owned, right? I mean, at some point, you had 100% women in the board, team, everything, right?
Yeah, there was that time too. But I'm sure we had a few wonderful men in our team of volunteers always.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tripti, tell me the time when you joined hands with Alka, and then you started screenings in Dallas as well, right? Simultaneously, you would bring a film to Austin and screen that in Dallas. And so how has it been? And you working from Dallas and Alka working from Austin, and nobody knows it. I mean, you pretty much eased into it and everything goes very seamlessly.
Wow, I'm glad that that's what comes out of it. Well, as I said earlier, it's been a great learning experience for both of us. And, we started, I think the first screening in Dallas was I Am. We started with that. And sorry, Alka, just stop.
No, it's okay. Keep on going. He'll edit it.
Okay, sorry. Okay, start. So it's great that it looks so seamless. Alka and I, we are very different personalities and we look at things very differently. I think that is also the reason why it makes us a good team. We know, when to agree and when to disagree and when to let it go. So I think we've developed a very great understanding between us to kind of make this process appear seamless, which, trust me, it is not. It is really not. So, and from a point of view of sourcing content, this cinema is so, it is so unusual that once we have that particular film, it just made sense to show it in two different communities, because it's not only the cinema that we're doing, but it is also the social relevance that the film addresses. And we really wanted to amplify those voices. So where we were doing in one community in Austin, it just made sense to amplify it and have another community develop in Dallas, and get different organizations involved to amplify the social relevant issues that we were trying to bring forth in front of the audience.
And I can just add to that to say that I think it's not easy to virtually work together, but probably if somebody is equipped to handle a virtual film festival coming up, it's Tripti and me, because we've done this virtually for so long. But I think while I agree with Tripti about we do have different takes on a lot of things, we're also alike in a lot of things. So maybe in the core, we both do agree on the cinema we screen. We both have the same point of view on, most, if not exactly every film. We do believe in, things like honesty, integrity, clarity, being straightforward, being, transparent in our dealings. Those things are important to both of us. And I think that's pretty solid. That's like a really important thing for a relationship in a company to grow. And I think I completely respect her point of view and what she does. And I absolutely understand that indie meme wouldn't be where it is if it hadn't been for how she sees things in terms of, of the bigger picture, taking it forward. She's super excited about new things happening and about change and about adapting and growing in different fields. So, a journey of 5 years with the festival, 7 years with the organization and we've only been growing. We haven't had one single dull year or, it's been tremendous working with her.
And people move through the world differently. As long as the core values are similar, that you can agree on the core values, then I think it's all okay. And I think in 2 years, you probably knew that you were at the cusp of something really big, something really good. And that time, partnering with Tripti and starting film festival really took you to another level. So we'll get to that right after the break. And if you want, we can play a song of your choice here and be right back. You have a suggestion?
A song suggestion? Oh yeah.
You played in the Indie Meme festival or Indie Meme screenings in the last few years?
Well, I try to pick up like an olden Goldie from our timeline. This is a film called Gopi Gavaya Bhaga Bajaya. It's a Children's Film Society film, and we know that when we screened the film, people walked out of the theater saying, "Where can I get the soundtrack of this film?" So I think that's worth mentioning here.
Let's have it then. Hello all, so we are back after the break with Alka and Tripti chatting about the journey of Indie Meme Film Festival here in Austin. And it's interesting to see how they have grown and become so big, and now people look forward to the films every year, every 2 months, and film festival is long awaited. So, and it wasn't easy. Anything worthwhile is never easy, right? So, one of the things that stands out for Indie Meme is in Austin is the relationships that you guys have built with the filmmakers. And I think that's a huge USP. All the filmmakers love seeing, they just love how Indie Meme hosts, Indie Meme as a gracious host, how much love and fun they get here. They go out, they travel. And so let's talk about, those fun incidents, some experiences with the filmmakers over the years, either from the US or from India. Let's just dive into that part.
I think that's our South Asian personalities coming through. Like, very gracious hosts. But initially it was fun because while we were hosting these filmmakers in our own homes, and it was, they were really gracious too. They were really sweet about, being okay to come and stay in our home and, hang out with our families sometimes. And because we couldn't really afford to put them up in hotels at that time. Things are very different now, but then we definitely didn't. And I think, I remember one time, Tripti mentioned that the screening we did in December was with I Am with Onir. And when Onir came to Austin, I took him to the Peacock Park, that Mayfield Park. And it was like, I have pictures of him with peacocks and everything. And I think those are like little precious moments you get to share with filmmakers. And they get to share with you and experience the city in addition to screening their film, meeting their fans. So it's nice if we could add a little bit more to their visits with Indie Meme.
Yeah, to add to this, I think the best compliments we have received mostly from all filmmakers that it's very personal. The festival is at a very one-on-one level. They feel taken care of. They feel, like a family. It becomes like a family, and they are always wanting to come back and visit us again. I think most of the filmmakers have been really, really happy with their experience at the festival.
See, at the end of the day, happiness comes from experiences that creates memories, not from a stuff at home. So this is what you just said, is they created a film, right, but they loved how you also received it and appreciated the work and the arts. As an artist, all they really care about is somebody's watching a film and enjoying it.
Right. I think the most important thing is for them also to connect with the audiences who are coming in. I mean, that one-on-one chat with them, the interaction with them. I think all of that makes a huge difference.
And we have Sixth Street here in Austin that they love to go out, and you guys take them every year. Every Saturday night is fixed at 10 o'clock. Any filmmaker comes,
You
goes
know,
to
Seema, I think that is thanks to our extremely enthusiastic volunteer team. All right, they are always so on top of it, and they are enthusiastic. They want to take them out and they want to show them a good time. And I think that's what makes it so nice, and the bond becomes so much stronger.
So, talking of volunteers, let's talk about volunteers. And it's a non-profit, right? So, non-profit has the biggest challenge of handling and the volunteers, and they stay. Then there is a board, then there is an advisory board, then you have all that paperwork, all the grants, all that work. Alka is probably freaking out just by seeing the list of things that come with non-profit. But since you are a non-profit, I do want to not miss that part. Talk a little bit about how it was a transition to make it a non-profit, and how has it been with volunteers and board members as
well? I'll talk briefly, and I'll let Tripti jump in. I think the path to setting up the non-profit was a lot to do with growing and funding in the field. The business we're in is very hard to sustain by itself. I mean, think about it: $10 a ticket and screenings, and how much money can you earn, and how much do you put in? We both were completely involved from the very beginning. It was our passion project. It was our third child. But I think the non-profit was so that we can actually write our grants. And yes, they're involved and they're hard, but you do get money at the end of it if you're a truly solid project. But I think it also, at the end of it, being a nonprofit also makes you feel so much more accountable, right? You're so much more about accountability at every stage. How you're doing your programming, how are you doing your outreach, how are you, making sure that what you're doing is completely in the public interest and open to everybody. And so I think it's been a wonderful, interesting journey, though hard, being a nonprofit. And I think, I don't know, Tripti, jump in and say, could we have done it differently?
So when the transition happened, before that, like Alka said, it was a passion project, right? We did because we loved doing it. We wanted people together. Then I think our dreams were big. Now, those dreams could firstly become possible and be sustainable only if we had the funding, because this is not a model where we could have earned. These are independent films. It's we are growing the audience. We are trying to sustain each event by itself. So I think the transition had to happen, and without the funding from city or the other grants that we have been so fortunate to get, it would not have been possible to sustain this, in the bigger way that where we are right now. So as hard as you said the non-profit is, having the board, having advisory board, the accountability, I mean, you have to be always on top of things. And Alka has done a fabulous job of keeping us on track for all the documentation, for all the admin work which is there. I think she has done a tremendous job, with all of that.
But it's with help, right? See, with the whole team growing, it's a double-edged sword. So yes, you have a very large team to manage, but you also have help. You also have advisors who are very smart people in their fields, who are giving you their time and they care, and they're making you be better. You have volunteers who care and are giving you so much of their time and helping you. So it is a tightrope to walk in terms of getting the help also to move forward in addition to the funding.
Right. And the journey has been overwhelming, learning to manage all of these things because, as you grow, as you become bigger, there are more responsibilities, there are more deliverables. So, they are definitely overwhelming. And we are also learning that way. It's not like Alka or I had ever had another nonprofit and we knew how to run everything and we were great at it. So we are sourcing advice. We do have an excellent board and advisory board who are there for every step of the way along the journey. They've been there for everything.
See, that's the job of a leader too, right? You have shown yourself that you led by example, and the very fact your board, your advisory board, your volunteers, your ED, and everyone works so consistently is because you are good leaders. You are giving them the right direction to move in and bringing everyone together. And then interesting thing that I have observed in IndieMeme is how you have involved the community, all the nonprofits who come on board with the right film. So should we, I want to touch on that a little bit before we take our next break, is the community, all the people who come for Q&As and bring the perspectives of how they relate to the film through them.
Right. As we mentioned earlier, right, the social relevance of any cinema that we are showcasing is of extreme importance to us. So the idea was to get community partners who were actually who are other nonprofits working on similar fields, whether it be child abuse, sex trafficking, acid attack victims. I mean, we can go on with the list of over 120 something films that we have shown during the course of our few years. It was extremely important to have them to amplify those voices, to create awareness, to kind of cause, some kind of ripple effects. And just to give you an example is we did a film on disabled athlete. Alka, you remember? I'm sorry.
Gunga Pelwan.
Gunga Pelwan. So Gunga Pelwan, during the Q&A, we actually had people who were willing to support the athlete because he was not getting enough support otherwise in India. And we made that connections. Now, this was not something that directly we did, but it was a ripple effect of the film, what we had shown, the Q&A that was happening. And we have multiple examples of these connections that we have kind of, created through our work.
Yeah, another example is just to kind of expand our community was we did a partnership on another film called Shalom Bollywood, which was such a fun film about the Jewish community in Bollywood, and we partnered with the Jewish community in Austin and the Austin Jewish Film Festival, and it was great to have the two film organizations from kind of different communities bringing together and enjoying some chai and samosa and watching this film together. It was
right. And we showcase cinema from South Asia. So it's not only about India, it's about all the other South Asian regions. And so the unity, right, the message of unity that goes across because of familiarity with cultures that is there is something that's pretty strong.
Awesome. So we'll take a short break at this point, and when I come back, I do want you to mention, I know you've been mentioning names of the films, but I know it's hard, it's almost like saying pick your favorite child, right? But pick some movies that have really been magnificent and phenomenal, and people have loved it and are still talking about it, or something like that. And I want to talk about the virtual IndieMeme Gala happening. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Alka and Tripti for some more conversations with Fab Life 360 on Rukus Avenue Radio. Hello all, this is Seema Govil with Alka and Tripti, and we have been chatting about the films they have shown, the socially relevant films and the kind of impact it has been making in the Austin community over the years, and how much people are loving seeing these independent and different kind of movies that they don't get to see anywhere. They're not released, you know, in theaters. They do sometimes afterwards, after they come to the film festivals, but not right away. So Tripti and Alka wanted to give that platform to these independent filmmakers who are very passionate about art and cinema and entertainment, and had a thought and had a story to tell. And they wanted to be that platform. And they, of course, have been extremely successful. And Austin audience has opened their arms and embraced them very gracefully and happily. And this week and next weekend, unfortunately, as the whole world is going virtual, Indie Meme Film Festival also adopted and embraced and decided to take their films virtual. So let's talk about that a little bit. How was that transition, especially when you had planned everything on a red carpet with films and you had everything set up, just last minute it got canceled, and then to change the films and move it virtually, it's not easy. So let's dive into that part of it.
Tripti? Okay. So I think we were, of course, initially very disappointed. It was the right thing to do, to take the decision, and we were one of the early ones to decide before any actual formal. Okay, I'm going to start again. Sorry. Take two.
See, I'm losing track of question, man. I don't know why. What is wrong with me?
You're good.
Seriously.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm telling you, it's all good. Go on.
So when in March, on March 10th, we took the decision to actually go ahead and cancel IMFF 2020 as it was scheduled for April. It was a really hard decision for us. I think the monetary aspect is one thing, but the amount of effort that goes into planning and making it all happen, and then to suddenly think, oh my God, we're going to lose it all. But we didn't really cancel it. We postponed it with the good intention of, oh, we'll do it in a few months. We'll do it in the summer. We'll do it. But of course, things changed very quickly. Right after we announced, within a week's time, there was a stay-at-home order. So, and then of course, we heard all the other news from around the world and in New York, and we knew that this is not happening in the summer either. And then it was about, okay, do we cancel it for the year? Do we try to take it virtual? And whatever we do, we need to do it fast. So a lot of decisions got taken really quickly and were implemented super fast. And I think it had to do with, like Tripti mentioned earlier, our board and advisory board completely being there for us. I mean, we would have meetings so often because these were important decisions to take, and we really wanted to weigh in and make sure we were doing the right thing and we were doing the best possible thing we could under the circumstances. And then when we decided, okay, we're going to run with the virtual version of IMFF 2020, then it was like all hands on deck because it had to be done in a very short time. And I'll let Tripti jump in and tell you what that was like.
So this is, first we went to announcing our schedule, to the festival being rescheduled, then the stay-at-home order, and unprecedented times. Nobody knew what was going on or what was going to happen, and so this was Indie Memes. I think we did a great job of adapting to this unpredictability, and then deciding that we are going to take our festival virtual. The decision was really, as Alka mentioned, along with the board, advisory board, the team and everybody. And people jumped in. And I think in the last 2 or 3 weeks, everybody has been working full-time almost. I want to say. This is, we both have talked about, doing virtual screenings for quite a while now, but every year it used to take backseat. We get a lot of good content. All right. Now there are only a handful of films that can be shown either in a festival or through the yearly screenings. And we are still left with content that both of us wish, oh my God, is there a way to get this to our audience? So we have talked about it often, but it took the virus to get us to make that final move, I guess. But I'm glad that the team took it as an opportunity, and we have had to navigate through a lot of different things in terms of the platforms that we are using. We are trying to make the virtual festival exactly like a theater, like the festival which would have been in the theater. So which means that you are setting up the film, you are showing the film at that particular time, and then you have a Q&A for an audience discussion, and everything happens during that evening. Now, this requires for us to have multiple platforms to integrate them and still make it, as seamless as it can be for a very enriching user experience. So all hands have been on deck. They still are. The festival comes in tomorrow. Yeah, we are looking forward to it.
And it gives an opportunity to people who can leave their kids and who can go to the theaters and who always says, oh, I don't get around to it. I mean, the charm of the cinema, the storytelling, the movie, the music, everything remains the same. I mean, okay, you miss out on, connecting with people before and after, the chit chat in the lobby and all the traditional things that are popcorns that are associated with cinema. But the real thing is still there. So I think it'll be fabulous. The whole world has virtual. We are doing virtual interviews now. I'm doing everything on Zoom, which I never thought I would. I was very hung up on never doing anything online, but I'm doing it as everyone else. We are adopting, and this is the beauty of our country, of our people. They adapt. They just quickly, you see how the ads have been filmed at home now, all the new ads that are coming. Everyone has been doing that. So I'm sure the response will be tremendous. And so just in the end, I just want to touch on some of your favorite things that people get to know you in different light, like your favorite book that you like to read, or the favorite movies, either you have shown an indie meme or just your favorite movies of all times. Who wants to go first?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. So I think indie meme movies, all of them, I love all of them. There is really not favorite, but there are films that have had a little bit more liking. I loved Mukti Bhavan. I loved Kadvi Hawa, probably on climate change. That has been that was a great film, I think. Otherwise, music-wise, I would say I enjoy all kinds of music. I love peppy calypso genre from there to Frank Sinatra. I listen to pretty much everything.
Alka, your choices of music and movies can be any.
Okay, I just want to say that for indie meme, like Tripti, I absolutely love every single film we've shown, which is 120 films or more. But one film, one of the earliest films we screened was The Ship of Theseus, and which I thought was a really well-made, interesting film to come out of India at that point. And I was truly impressed. And I think for us as an organization too, that film helped us to really kind of expand and grow at that point. That content was really incredible. So I think that deserves a quick mention. And another film which we screened a while back, which somehow just stayed with me forever, was Port. It was the filmmaker Chaitanya Tamane's first film. Brilliant. And you've seen Court?
Yeah, I remember.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that. And so many good ones. Newton,
Yep.
Girl Rising. I still remember all the girls from Girl Rising. All the stories I remember. I remember seeing with my daughter, and both my kids were there actually. And last year's Kamyab and Last Color, and Mukti Bhavan, yes, definitely. Gulabi Gang,
yes.
Gulabi Gang, yeah.
Brilliant documentary. Yep.
Lakshmi and Dhanak.
There's an entire list. I'm telling you, if you pick up the list that we've shown, I don't think there's any film that we'll say, okay, this was not nice. I
You know,
think,
and Tripti, remember, like we screened a small film in the first festival called The Threshold. Oh my God, like I think
yeah,
that was one of just our best post-screening Q&As at that point ever.
yeah,
I mean, people were like feeling it, and the
yeah.
filmmaker was there. It was just, you know, that whole experience as a package of watching this really moving film and then having the filmmaker there in attendance and an amazing conversation with Vagdevi Munir at that point. It was just like, wow,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
You know, now that you mention Alka, I'm remembering waiting over here. We had a panel set up. We had UT Southwestern palliative care head who was there. There was a lawyer who had come in. I mean, the Q&A could have gone on, I think, for another 2 hours. It was just so incredible. So those moments are actually very precious.
Seema, you can see you got us talking on something we both can talk on forever.
I
Yeah.
started thinking of the film Half Widow as well last year.
Oh yes, yeah.
Half Widow, because I remember the discussions, the visuals, the conversations that we had. Yeah, that's what I wanted to even say earlier, is that the feeling you get after seeing a good film, no one can take that away, theater or home. And the filmmaker will show up right away. So we are still, I think, good to go in that regard, virtual or not. The film is
Yes.
still there.
So right.
So we are going to kind of close here at this thought. Do you have any last 1 or 2 lines to say to our listeners?
Hope you enjoyed the show and thank you for listening to us.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Seema, for having us.
And keep watching independent cinema. Keep encouraging our filmmakers who are making such fabulous films only out of the passion and just for us to know their stories. So thank you, Tripti. Thank you, Alka. It was lovely having you. I enjoyed this conversation and it took me back all these years. It was just, as you were talking, I was getting the visuals of all the things that happened over the years. So, and yeah, so I'll see you next time and all the best for the film festival. And we are right here with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.